The 2022 Acura MDX is all new both inside and out. It's longer, it's lower, it's wider, and has a lot of cool technology, and we're going to take it for a drive. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Lauren Fix. If this is your first time to the channel, we do a lot more than cool car reviews. We give you first looks of new vehicles and we give you car smarts because we believe knowledge is power. Make sure to subscribe and click that little bell so you don't miss anything. This is the 2022 Acura MDX. It is all new. Like I was saying, it's lower, it's wider, it's longer, and what that gives you is more cabin space, better ride, and of course more storage. But there are some other changes as well inside. We're going to take it for a drive and give you a Car Coach Reports ratings in 10 categories. Performance, handling, safety, visibility, seating, technology, features, design, quality, storage, value, and at the end we'll give you a Car Coach Reports total. We'll also give you a list down below of all the competitors. There's a lot. There's like a dozen of them. And what's important to note is before you go and drive one of these vehicles that you check out all the competition, because it's not just about price, it's about insurance rates and of course what meets your needs. Now, when you go to the dealer, they're going to try and sell you on this vehicle. That is their job. We're here to inform and empower you. And we're going to start off with what's under the hood. Under the hood of all the Acura MDXs is a 3-liter V6 engine with 290 horsepower and 267 pound-feet of torque. That's backed up by a 10-speed automatic transmission, 0 to 60 times, 6.3 seconds in the advance, 6.5 in the regular MDX all-wheel drive. 0 to 60 time in this MDX is 6.3 seconds. Here we go. It's a little loud, but you know what? It has really good pickup. It's a V6 engine, so you should expect that. I'm surprised they don't have a hybrid option, but that may be what's coming in the Type S, that they're going to take this vehicle and not just use the gasoline-powered engine, but add some hybrid technology. This mild hybrid technology has improved performance and fuel economy. Fuel economy combined for both the all-wheel drive and the standard is 25 miles to the gallon. Again, it's really not losing a lot with the all-wheel drive system, and that's part of handling, which we'll discuss next. When you're looking at towing capacity, it's a 5,000-pound towing capacity in case you're going to be hauling something behind you. When you're looking at performance of a vehicle like this, not driving it in sport every day, we're driving it in comfort right now, it's not bad. You go to normal mode and then go to sport. It changes not just the screens in front of you, but the center screen. It has really good pickup. I really like the performance on this, although the fuel economy is not as good as some of the vehicles in this category, and part of that is that mild hybrid technology. I do like this vehicle. I think they did a really good job improving the performance in all aspects in every single of the 4 drive modes. There's a paddle shifter if you're really going to use it. I don't know when you're going to use it. Most people won't use it at all, but it's nice to know that it's there and it's a nice little touch. When you're looking at the performance of the brand new 2020 MDX, it earns a 9. Before we get into the handling, note that there is a Type S coming out. I keep saying that because I'm really excited about saying that. When you're looking at the handling this vehicle, they call it SHAWD, Super Handling All-Wheel Drive. Now, what that does is give you a really nice ride. When you own a vehicle like this, you don't care what they call it. It has to ride well, it has to have good brakes, and it has to have good handling. Well, part of that is the power steering. So when you're driving along the road just normally, you get this nice, tight feeling. It's not sloppy whatsoever. Easy to drive this vehicle, and a really nice, grippy steering wheel, which I do appreciate because not every vehicle in this competitive set has it. So the smooth ride that's pretty quiet, unless you're putting it to the floor in 0 to 60, is a huge improvement over the previous generation, although it wasn't bad. I really liked the previous generation. And if you haven't seen it, you can check that out up here in case you're looking at a used vehicle. 20-inch wheels are standard, 22-inch are optional, and of course that would be available on the A-Spec package. The new multi-link suspension is completely redesigned, both the front and the rear. The shocks are different, the suspension is different, and of course the complete handling feel of this vehicle is different, and it is much improved over the previous generation. The one thing I really like about the new handling, it has, and this is the steering, is it has this adjustable steering. So while you're driving down the road, it's a nice tight feel. When you get into the corner, it's more assisted. It makes it a little easier to drive around corners, so you're not getting that really heavy steering feeling while just driving down the road. When you're looking at handling overall for a vehicle like this, it's quite impressive, and it earns a 9. When it comes to safety, the Acura MDX has always been a top safety pick. Plus, it has top ratings, and that is something that people really like because they know they're getting a safe vehicle for their family. Because you're not typically driving this by yourself. It's usually a lot of people, which is why you buy a 3-row SUV unless you got a lot of stuff to haul or a lot of junk in the trunk, as they say. When it comes to safety, it all comes standard. Remember, Acura is Honda, and they're all about safety. Although when you look at some of the competitors, they do have some additional features that this doesn't have, such as night vision, which you may think doesn't make a difference, but where I live, we have deer running across the street all the time. I have not hit one, knock wood, but it's nice to be able to see it. And the night vision really does make an improvement. And that's starting to become some of the norms. Emergency forward collision, it will warn you. And it already did once. Again, a big yellow light on the dash saying, hey, don't hit that car. I won't. There's a new airbag design, pedestrian protection, collision mitigation, forward collision warning, low speed brake control from 1 to 6 miles per hour. The one safety feature I would like to see on this vehicle would be when you pull, I keep saying this, it's not a deal breaker. It'd be nice if you pull into the garage and the around view camera kicks on. I have that even in my vehicle, and it's a 2016, and I think that's something that people need so you don't hit something in front of you. You can see what's in front of you, whether it be a child's toy, an animal, or fill in the blank. So it's one of the things I always tell people, it'd be really nice to see that on a vehicle, especially in this price point. All this safety is easy to adjust. It's right here on the steering wheel. You can press the buttons to get your distance control, your cruise control, your lane departure warning, your road mitigation. Hopefully you won't be doing the road departure mitigation into any ditches, although we don't have snow on the street, but it does get kind of slick here because I am in the Buffalo area. But I have to tell you that these are really nice features. When you start changing to the different modes, you can really see the difference. As we go into the corners here, and this is handling and safety, you can see that it really keeps you in the lines. It will not drive for you. It is not a self-driving car, although none of those are available. So don't let anyone kid you and say, oh yeah, no, they're assistants. They're level 3. They're there to help you become a better driver. When you're looking at safety overall for the new MDX, and it is much improved, not that there's much they could improve on the previous generation. Honestly, I keep saying that, but they keep telling us it's improved. I wasn't disappointed with the previous one. When it comes to safety for this vehicle, and as a top priority, it earns a 9. When it comes to visibility, believe it or not, that's actually a part of safety because 80% of your driving decisions are based on visibility. So the first thing you want to do is look at that windshield. Can you see out? Can you see the ground? Well, the hood may be longer, but you cannot see the ground directly in front of you, and that bothers some people, but in reality, you're supposed to look as far ahead as possible to open up your peripheral vision. Good size windshield, that's excellent. When it comes to the sills, it's a little bit high, but overall, it really does a nice job and good visibility. When you're looking out the back, there are 2 headrests. There's one of them right there for the 3rd row. Now, obviously, if there's no one sitting there, it'd be wise to put those headrests down because it'll improve the visibility. And that's why there's also an around view camera when in reverse. And of course, the backup camera is there as well. And you've got those headrests. Those are important features when it comes to owning a vehicle like this because you want to see where you are, especially if you're going into a parking spot. When you're looking at visibility overall, what's included and how it functions with you every day for visibility, it earns an 8. When it comes to seating, no matter how cool the car looks or what performance it has, it's right here where you sit because this is where you live in this vehicle if you're driving it or maybe on the passenger side. So I always say it should be equal from side to side. Well, Acura has been listening to you, and they now have 16-way optional front seats that includes lumbar, 4-way lumbar. These seats are great. They have good support, both laterally, side to side. I'm not that big a person, but you want those side bolsters to hold you in place. It's really important because the last thing you want to do is to find yourself slopping from side to side in a seat or sitting around the seat instead of in the seat. So again, make sure that seat's comfortable for you because this is where you're going to live in this vehicle for the life of the time that you own it, and it will never get more comfortable over time. One of the things that Acura did that was spot on, and I've been begging for them to do this, is make the passenger seat equal to the driver's seat, and they have done that. Now, there are no massaging seats, but when you buy the upper trim levels, you can get ventilated seats, and of course, heated seats are included. And I really like the fact that they have an automatic mode, so if it's cold outside and you forget to turn it on when you jump in the car, it will actually set it for you. And that's where you want to heat yourself up quickly versus waiting for that heater in your car. So heated seats are great when it's cool outside. Let's take a look at the 2nd and 3rd row. Going into the second row, there are more improvements. There's more leg room because it's lower and wider and taller, but also there's more shoulder space. So I think that's a major plus. But one of the big pluses is not just the fact that there's more leg room and all the goodies that are back here. The first thing you want to talk about in seating is literally the seats. So you can have someone sit in the second row, but if you just have two people sitting here, you can make these captain's chairs. Now this is a first I've ever seen this. There is a little loop, you pull it, and this armrest goes down and becomes two cup holders. And you can pull the lever again and pull this whole section out. And then, and it's pretty heavy by the way, you then have two captain's chairs. So you could leave it this way in order to put child safety seats in back. It leaves you a lot of options. In order to put this center piece back up, which is also great if you've got skis or whatever you got to move in back, you just pull the lever and push that back. The seats do recline, which is really good for installing child safety seats. Now when you're looking in front of you, behind each seat is a pocket. In addition, there is climate control and heated seats. And I think that's great because there's 3-stage heated seats. And when you live in Buffalo, that's an important feature. In addition, going further down, you've got power outlets, which include a 115 and a 12 volt and 2 USB connections. But getting back in the third row, it is a lot tighter than you would expect. Now, as they make it longer and wider and give you all this great space, sometimes you lose some of that. And so if you put this down and this piece is missing, you now have two captain's chairs and it's easier to access the third row. And if somebody has to sit here, there's only 2 seats back here, but you have to note that if this seat is all the way back, it's going to be tight. But there's a button to get out. You press the button, the seat goes forward. They've done a nice job thinking about how people use this vehicle. Children will typically be back here. Adults probably don't want to be on 5'8", and you can see my knees are pretty high, although the floor is slightly lower, which is a plus and also gives you more storage. There are some limitations. In addition, back here you've got a USB outlet on each side and 2 cup holders. When you're looking at the overall seating comfort, much improved over the previous generation MDX, and it earns a 9. There's a lot of new technology in the MDX, starting off with the center screen. It's 12.3 inches and it has much clearer graphics than it does in the past. You can also see that the little dots are like going around, like it's the Earth as part of the universe here. So when you hit the home button, you immediately get the navigation, your phone, your satellite radio, your Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, smart shortcuts, and your system update. Now you can touch a screen. It does not do anything. This is a negative to me because I think people are very intuitive to touching a screen, and when they do, it doesn't work, it gets frustrating. Now, it's also important to note that when you use this touchpad, which is much improved over the previous one, as you touch each corner and you slide it across the top, it will allow you to do things. Now, again, you have to be comfortable with this, and there is a learning curve on this because you got Bluetooth, your social playlist, your USBs, AM radio, thank goodness that's still there, your cabin talk, which is great because now you can tell everyone in the back, hey, we're making a potty stop. Who needs to go? So you can see that it's actually back here where you're hearing it in the second and third rows. So I think that's a huge improvement as well. In addition, you got your smart shortcuts, and you can go to your next page. You've got your Acura link, which has a lot of good things, and your messages. So you decide where you want, and of course it has a hotspot, which is getting to be pretty standard right now on a lot of these vehicles, especially in this category. The center screen touchpad interface is much faster. It refreshes better. It also has standard Wi-Fi. Amazon Alexa is built in, which seems to be the thing. I'm not a fan of any of those things in my home because they listen and suddenly you're getting a ton of emails, the things you don't want. But also a smart shortcut feature, and to customize the different features besides the phone, you can load your navigation to find what you need. In addition to that, you can go to your satellite radio, your FM radio, your smart shortcuts, and you can also ask Alexa questions and she will answer them for you if you don't know what you're doing. And here's a perfect example. Alexa, tell me about the wireless charging.
Standard on every new MDX. The QI standard wireless charging pads support 15-watt charging and fits today's largest phones with room to spare. Coupled with the standard wireless CarPlay and Android Auto, the new MDX creates a seamless digital experience in the cockpit.
Maybe it's a little bit more than you need, but it does say that. And you can do other things like, Alexa, tell me about the true touchpad interface.
The new MDX benefits from the latest generation of Acura's intuitive and driver-focused true touchpad interface, featuring our largest ever center display at 12.3 inches. The ultra-wide display works seamlessly with the Acura exclusive touchpad utilizing absolute positioning and a new, more powerful CPU. Physical power, volume and seat controls positioned within easy reach to the immediate right of the touchpad, along with more accurate swipe zones and handwriting recognition, as well as AI-driven smart shortcuts for quick and predictive access to common tasks.
One of the other features that's part of technology is when you put the vehicle in reverse, the side mirrors tilt down, and this is where your vehicle is. Keep in mind that when you pull into a parking garage or your garage at home, it does not automatically turn on like much of their competitors do. And so you won't be able to see how close you are to the vehicle or the thing in front of you or the wall unless you put it in reverse and then back in drive. When you're looking at the technology improvements inside the MDX, they really are impressive and they've done a nice job. I'm still not the biggest fan of that touchpad, but it is much better than its previous generation, and for technology, it earns a 9. When it comes to features, there's a lot of things you can change and personalize, including the 27 different themes that you can personalize. And we'll start right in front of us with the gauges. You've got your regular gauges, and you can see it says normal mode. When you turn the dial, it goes to sport and changes the gauges back to normal. Then you can go to the comfort mode. There's also a snow mode, which is good because that means you're using all-wheel drive, where it can take 70% of that power and move it to the front or the rear so that you can get the best traction, and that's really important. That's part of that handling that we discussed earlier. So this is another thing I like, that you can see what you're doing when you press the button for the automatic cruise control. You can see that it makes changes in front of you. So the technology is really well designed. I think they really thought about who's using it and how they're using it, and I think they did a nice job as far as making those changes. Additional features that are really cool is the steering wheel has so many functions to it. Starting off with the ability to turn things on and off. You got your heated steering wheel right here, your volume control, and the ability to change the station that you're listening to. You also have the speak to Alexa if you want to hear what she has to say. You also have your apps available to you. And then on this side, you've got your information where you can then turn on, like I was showing you earlier, that on and off for the cruise control, the adjustments for that. This is a safety feature, and that's your distance control, and that's for staying within the lines on the roadway, and you can cancel that as well. Looking at the stalks themselves, you can see they're pretty normal for your wipers. And then on this side, beyond the paddle shifters, which are performance oriented, you have the ability to use your regular wiper blade. This is really nice that they put the head-up display, which is 10.2 inches right here in front of you, easy to use. You have the adjustability and the tilt, and you can make it brighter. And then this, in addition, will give you your around view road departure mitigation. Hopefully you won't be needing that. Your traction control or your posi traction, your park assist, and then of course the brightness on your gauges. If you're wondering where the hood release is, it's way down there on the side. Your regular controls for your door, and this has the ELS audio, which is an additional feature that you can purchase. Going further down from that center screen we were just covering, you've got your vertical vents right here, your controls for your climate, very easy to use, your automatic seats right here. This turns on your automatic heated seats, and that's really nice to have your vented and your air-cooled seats right here, air-cooled, automatic heated. And again, you have that on the passenger side as well. Again, thinking about both driver and passenger side, I think is something that a lot of manufacturers overlook. This changes your drive modes, and then this would be your shifter or your Prindle. So park, reverse, you pull back, neutral, and drive, and that's great. Now there is your touch pad that I'm not a big fan of. I know it works and all, and there's a home button. It's more intuitive than most, but I'm still just not a fan of it. Just let me touch the screen. You got your volume, and then of course you can make changes here for CD and such. This is a really nice little square cup holder. This is an excellent place to put your phone as well if it's not charging. And then further back, your cup holders and the gigantic wireless charging pad right here, and a little rest for your hand in case you're using the mouse to move things around, or you just want to rest your hand here. Going further back, and you go into the center console, you've got two different stages. This can good for pens and for whatever you need. Going further down, you have a huge storage area. It's not as big as some of the other vehicles, but you have another power outlet, another USB, and of course a little light and a little pad in the bottom. So they did a nice job thinking about who's using it and how they're using it. When you're looking at features, which include this beautiful panoramic sunroof, you also have this really cool center console that is removable. I talked about that in seating. In addition to the cool panoramic sunroof, you have this really impressive cup holder that is removable. You'll see, and I'll show that to you in seating. But they've really done a nice job thinking about who's using it and how they're using it. And when you're looking at all the features that are available, there are a few missing compared to the competition. But overall, when you're looking at features, this vehicle earns a 9. The MDX is Acura's midsize 3-row premium SUV. It's one of the best-selling vehicles in the market for a reason, but they've made it bigger, literally, longer, wider, lower. And what you can tell right away is the change in the front grille with this huge, and I probably think this is one of the largest logos I've seen on the market. Just to let you know, there's an Acura driving up behind you. You can definitely see that. The new chrome trim and then the black shiny front end. You'll note the LED headlights and the new DRLs. There's a vent looking piece here on the side. It's not functional. And then down below, there is a vent. It is matte black, which is good because you don't want it shiny like up top, because if it gets dirty, this would look really dirty. The matte sort of covers it. And you can see it's kind of dirty as we drive through the snowy winter here, but you can really see that they've done a nice job with the design overall. The Acura MDX comes with 20-inch alloy wheels. Standard, there's an optional 22-inch wheel, which you would see on the A-Spec package, which we'll do in a separate review. Going along the side, you can see there's nice trim around the wheelhouse. They did a good job filling in the wheelhouse with tire and wheel. I hate when it's just a small tire and wheel. It doesn't fill it up. They did a great job of design there. There's a new chrome trim piece here that runs all the way along, but it does extend beyond the door, which is unusual, and that makes it for a nice modern design. Large side mirrors, which are great. And by the way, when you put it in reverse, they do tilt down, the mirror itself, not the housing. You'll note the lower chrome trim piece here. It also gives it a nice luxury look. I like the fact there's darkened windows back here. This is standard. And that chrome trim piece follows itself all the way back. And there are roof rails on here that are matte, not chrome, so it gives it sort of a change and a more modern look. Going around to the back, you've got your LED taillights and that chrome trim piece that continues all the way across the back. Also more detail. That's super handling all-wheel drive, which is Acura's all-wheel drive system, and the MDX to remind you what you're driving. You'll also note that the exhaust is really nicely fit right in here, and again, that matte material down below, so if it gets dirty, like our vehicle is right now, you can see that it sort of hides some of that dirt. One of the things I'd like to see is this rear wiper should be tucked up underneath this wing. I think it'd be a nicer way to keep it clean and also be a more modern look. But overall, the brand new exterior of this car and the interior design changes, which are pretty huge compared to what they had before. And it wasn't bad. I actually liked the previous Acura MDX, and it's won a lot of awards. I think this vehicle might be on the same path. When it comes to design, it earns a 9. The quality of the Acura MDX is very impressive. This vehicle is built in the USA, and I think the panel gaps and the design and all the materials that were used are premium. Inside, you've got that open pore wood, the real premium leather materials, because what's in this category besides the German cars? You've got Jaguar and Genesis and a lot of other really nice product. Again, that list is down below. It's quite extensive. But one of the things that's important to note is when you're looking at a vehicle like this, you want it to last a long time. It has to have a good warranty, and you have to be sure that not just the outside, but the inside really is premium. And Acura's all-new MDX does fit that, and for quality, we gave it a 10. Coming around to the back of the car with the third row up, you have about 16.3 cubic inches of storage. What this does have, which is really nice, is another 1.6 cubic feet of storage underneath here. Also good for hiding things, packages, your wallet, your purse, whatever that might be. Really well designed. In addition, when you put these seats down, these third row seats, the headrest goes down, you push that forward, very easy to do. Now you're at 71.4 cubic inches. Yes, you can put the front seats down and get around 95 inches of cubic inches of storage, but that's a lot. And you may not need that maybe unless you're moving your kid to college. You do have an additional 12-volt power outlet back here, which is really good for tailgating or camping or whatever you might like to do. But they did a nice job on the details back here and even on the third row storage. Now, to put up the third row, you reach in, you pull up the lever, very simple to do. Got to get that snow brush out of the way. And now your third row is back up. Now you can use this button to close it, or if you have your key fob with you, you can press the remote and the hatch closes for you. When you're looking at cargo as well as value for this vehicle, it starts at a really reasonable price. Now, this is not the all-wheel drive, but when you're looking at the MDX starting point, it's about $46,995 or $47,000. Now you add on all-wheel drive, that's a $2,000 option, which comes standard when you buy the advanced package. You add the tech package on top of that. This is the advance. We're coming in at $63,000 for this car. Now when you look at the competition listed down below, you can see the big difference. You can see that this vehicle can add up very quickly. When you're comparing the MDX to the competitors, you can see why this is one of the best-selling vehicles in the category, and it's one of Acura's flagships because they know they're selling a lot of them because people are getting luxury at a very reasonable price. So you're looking at the value of this vehicle based on the starting point and our advanced all-wheel drive, pretty well-loaded vehicle that came in at $63,000. The total value score is 9. There are some pluses and minuses to the new MDX. They did a really good job overall and a huge improvement on a vehicle that almost didn't need to be improved. Sales were good, but you know, manufacturers are constantly trying to make their vehicles better for you based on your requests and your demands. I did notice a few things that I wasn't happy about. The brakes were a little soft, and I didn't like that touch paddle. Some people do like it. And remember, when you're pulling into a garage or some closed space, the automatic around view camera doesn't turn on, which a lot of their competitors do, because you don't want to hit somebody that's right in front of you or pull too far into your garage. And that was one of the first things I noticed, and something that you need to decide if that's important to you or not before you decide on this vehicle or one of the competitors. Another important thing to note is Acura is coming out with an MDX Type S. It's going to have more performance. We're hearing under 6 seconds from 0 to 60, and of course that means it's going to have that awesome red interior that I love that's in their A-Spec packages, and of course on that Type S. So we're definitely looking forward to that, and we'll have that again in a separate review. When you total up all 10 categories, the Car Coach Report's rating for the 2022 Acura MDX is 90. That's a pretty good score when you look at some of the competitors. Some are right there with it, some ahead, some below, but there's reasons for that. And so you need to look at the competition, drive and see what meets your needs. Don't forget to check with your insurance agent. Find out where those rates are. You can check online as well. That's going to make a big determination on what you're looking for. Now, if you don't find it in the list down below, you can go to our website, carcoachreports.com. It's all new. We have brand new contributors, both English and in Spanish, and we're covering a multitude of different vehicles that might meet your need. Also, we're having a great time with our podcast, Total Car Score. If you like cars, you will love our podcast. It's with Javier Mota and Carl Brower, and it's on all platforms, so hopefully you'll download that and join us. And of course, you can put comments in the Total Car Score Facebook page as well. You can follow me on all forms of social media at Lauren Fix. And if you're looking for more car information, check out my book, Lauren Fix's Guide to Loving Your Car. We appreciate your support. Put your comments down below, especially if you got value from this video. Make sure to like it and share it, and we'll look forward to seeing you next time.